So 6 weeks ago today, I gave birth to my daughter. I also want to be really honest and say, especially the first couple of weeks, was so goddamn hard, like so hard things. And yes, I pooed myself, which I just have to say. I feel more myself than ever before, but very weirdly at the same time, feel like not myself. I stunk, and I remember my sister, bless her, washing my armpits with a flannel. On day 8, I got thrush on my nipples. My daughter got thrush on her tongue. Wonder, am I about to have an orgasm? It was like a weird feeling of like, this is so fucking intense, and can my body actually stretch so much? Shower. Hello, baby. Are you using your voice on the podcast? So 6 weeks ago today, I gave birth to my daughter. It has been 6 whole weeks. I can't believe it. And you might actually hear her because I've got her in my arms. She's kind of on and off the boob, having a little suckle and then going to sleep. We'll see what she decides. I can't believe it's been 6 weeks. It has been such a blur, and I also want to be really honest and say, especially the first couple of weeks, was so goddamn hard. Like so hard that I've actually found, like, hard isn't even the word. Like, it's really hard for me to describe what actually happened in those first couple of weeks. And I've had so many messages on Instagram and on Facebook of people saying, Alice, are you okay? Like, is the baby okay? And baby's absolutely fine. She's perfect. She's amazing. I'm fine. Like, but one thing that I really want to say, and the reason I said I'm fine and then paused, is because the transition that you go through as a woman, and also like the intensiveness of labor, like it's called labor for a reason. Like, it is hard work giving birth. I actually had a really positive birth experience. I had a bit of challenges with my placenta, but giving birth to my actual daughter was for me, it hurt. It really hurt, but it's not like a pain I can describe, but I actually really enjoyed it. Although it was really painful, and of course there were challenges, and I want to talk about that, and I want to share that. But that's what this podcast is about. I found it really hard to just post, and I haven't posted anything on Instagram or Facebook, to just post a cute picture of my baby and saying like, Mum and baby are doing well, or baby born this date, weighing this much. And it's not that I'm against that, and I'm really, anyone who's done that, I really hope that I'm not saying that to criticize you. There was something in me that just couldn't bring myself to posting that cute picture, because the first few weeks of motherhood were not cute, and they were not gorgeous and pristine and shiny, and like they were really gritty and sweaty. Like, you sweat a lot. I was having like night sweats. You're bleeding, I was bleeding. Your boobs are leaking, like your bed sheets are covered in milk. And guys, I really hope I'm not scaring anyone if someone's pregnant with their first baby, but I really want to share the truth of my experience, not because it was horrible or scary, it wasn't, but because the idea of me just sharing a beautiful picture of my daughter, and she is absolutely gorgeous, guys, she's beautiful, doesn't feel like, it feels like a disservice to women. It feels like a disservice to the journey that we go through. And I think I really want to try, and I just feel that I always think if my daughter needed support in life, and I've always thought this before I even had a daughter, like, what would I want her to see? What knowledge, what information would I want her to have access to? And something I would love her to have access to is like the truth of the postpartum experience, the truth of giving birth. And like I say, my birth was actually really positive, and I look forward. It was also comical and extremely painful and all the things. And yes, I pooed myself, which I just have to say. Anyone who's in the Sisterhood membership, so I run an online membership called the Sisterhood, a monthly membership. And I think in the last session that I run, so every new moon and full moon, I do a live 90-minute session with all the members. And I remember saying to everyone, I'm really nervous about pooing myself, and it's really weird. Like, I am someone who's confident, and I'm someone who knows about natural bodily functions and all these things. But that was like one of my big concerns, was like pooing myself. I don't want to get too much into my birth story, because I want to dedicate like a whole podcast or video to it. I'm not sure it'll be a video or a podcast. But I remember saying to my partner, and guys, for anyone who's new around here, me and my partner are celebrating our 1-year anniversary next month. So we have an almost 2-month baby, and we haven't even been together a year. Like, we have been on a wild ride. So I found out I was pregnant when, after a month of us being together, like, we were pretty much just still dating. Luckily, we just knew that we were gonna like be together and have kids, so it's all worked out happily ever after. But yeah, I was so nervous about like pooing in front of him, because we still are like in that romantic kind of sexy phase of the relationship. But I remember I remember bringing him into the bathroom and being like, I just need to poo in front of you, because I knew that for me to give birth pleasurably, and like I feel sometimes like I'm not ashamed of my birth experience, but I did have, like, when I was crowning, when I was pushing my baby out, I did have pleasurable feelings in my body. I did wonder, am I about to have an orgasm? It was like a weird feeling of like, this is so fucking intense, and can my body actually stretch so much? And at the same time, I remember shouting like, yes! Like, I remember like almost like, yeah, orgasmic feelings, which sounds crazy, but there were other challenges, and I will talk about that. Anyway, I'm digressing. So I've got my partner into the toilet, and I said to him, I just need to poo in front of you, because if I can poo in front of you, I know my whole body will just relax. I knew that I needed to like remove all the fear from my body, and the last bit of fear that I had was actually just him watching me poo. I can't believe I'm sharing this on a podcast, but like, it's the truth. So I just like, and he's amazing. He was the most incredible birth partner, to the point where I was like, we need to hire you out for this. Like, he was so good. He was like, well, just do it, Alice. So I did. I pooed in front of him, and I'm pretty sure I pooed multiple times throughout my labour. But my waters broke. I don't want to tell you guys too much about the story, because I want to dedicate a whole thing, but my waters broke at 11 a.m. in the morning. We were eating pancakes in bed. And I delivered my baby girl at 1 a.m. that morning. So I think we actually had a really, it was quite good. But anyway, I will talk about the details of that, because there were some complications. I did have challenges with my placenta, and there were different complications that took place that I do want to, share about. But anyway, yeah, so I'm sharing this podcast. It's a little bit all over the place, but I'm sharing this podcast because I can't bring myself to just share, oh, look at my cute daughter. Because there's so much that's happened, and such there's been nights where I have been like desperately crying. There's been nights where like me and my partner have had really intense conversations, and we've tried, and we have been very, very loving and compassionate towards each other. But the truth is, unless you have been through that experience, I'm just not sure. For example, I'm not sure that my partner will ever understand the transition that I have gone through, and I'm still going through. And so it's been my job to, very honestly and continuously express my ever-changing feelings, emotions, boundaries, needs, every step of the way, because that's been one of the hardest things for me, is actually everyone else. Like, having a baby has been very natural for me. I know not everyone says that, but for me it feels extremely natural, and it feels very easy, if I'm being honest. The only thing that hasn't felt easy, I have had some challenges with breastfeeding, On day 8, I got thrush on my nipples. My daughter got thrush on her tongue. We persevered, and we've been exclusively on breast milk. But we did have to introduce a bottle of breast milk when I got thrush. So we've had some challenges with breastfeeding, but I'm really proud of our journey. And but the biggest challenge that I've had, guys, has been like with other people. Oh my god, people, who likes them? Honestly, only joking. But really has been like with managing other people's expectations. I actually, like, I get angry thinking about it. It drives me mad. And I think one of the things that I've really realized is our society does not know and is not educated on how to support a woman during her postpartum days, and especially during those early days. Like, people are just not educated. And I will say, I wasn't educated. I am, a lot of my friends are older than me, so a lot of my friends already had children when I met them, so I haven't had a close person in my life be pregnant, so I haven't had someone to support. I've had people from a distance, and I've sent cards and dropped presents and all these kind of things, but I haven't had anyone really close to me, so I didn't know. I have been so surprised at what I've needed. Like my honest truth is, our house got full of like so many cards. People were sending us so many cards. I just had to throw them out. When they came through the door, I was putting them straight in the bin. It sounds awful, but our house was getting cluttered with cards. God, I sound horrible, don't I? But I want to share my truth with you guys. And then we also got like lots of mimicky presents, where people would send us like really mimicky presents. Things like, little placards that would say, welcome to the world, little one. And I really am committed to sharing my truth. So I'm aware that people might be like, oh my God, how rude. But when you're in it, a placard saying welcome to the world, little one, it's not what you need. It is not what you need. And it actually adds more clutter to a house that you're trying to keep on top of. It was just so interesting, like people wanting to visit. And I was like, there was people like my sister, for example, came back from New Zealand, my twin sister, and she came and she cooked for me every day. She hoovered my house. My mum came pretty much every day. She would clean my bathroom. She would drop food around. She would go to the supermarkets and fill up food, and all different things. Those things are what a woman really needs. And my experience was, if you don't have a relationship with a woman where you can come and support her in that way, just give her space. Like, some people wanted to come around and see me, who I just thought, like, I don't want to see you. Like, I'm naked pretty much all the time. I'm bleeding. Like, I had these big pads in my knickers. I was bleeding all the time. It stung like hell for me to go for a wee. Luckily, I've heard a lot of people have had challenges with going for a poo. Luckily for me, going for a poo wasn't. It was a little bit like sore at the first one, but not really. I think I was more afraid because people had told me beware of that first poo, but I was actually all right. So you're like, I'm physically recovering. I stunk, guys. I absolutely stunk. Like, I smelled so bad. Like, every night I was just sweating and sweating. Apparently, some people had said it was to do with the hormones. Some people had said it was because all that water weight you carry when you're pregnant is getting rid of. I haven't had my chance to do the research. I've been busy. But I stunk, and I remember my sister, bless her, washing my armpits with a flannel, because she was like, Alice, I just want to like wash your armpits for you, because even if I was having a shower, hello baby, are you using your voice on the podcast? Even if I had a shower, because I was quickly trying to have a shower, I still smelt. So my sister was literally washing my armpits with a flannel. And I just, like, things like that I have really fond memories of. Like, she was feeding me soup. My partner was amazing. He's just like, I'm absolutely even more crazy about him. Like I said, we haven't even been together a year, so we're already like still in that love bubble that you're in the beginning of a relationship, and he has just been phenomenal. The times where we've kind of really rubbed up against each other has been when we just, like, little things like people wanted to come over and see me, and I would just get so angry because I'd think I'm not in a position to see people. Like, I'm exhausted, my body's recovering, I don't know these people. Like, they're the kind of things that would cause a lot of tension. But after really expressing my needs and saying I'm overstimulated, like I am so overstimulated, not so much now because we have a lot of quiet time. But during those first couple of weeks, I would say to him, I'm so overstimulated, and I don't think he quite understood. I'm not sure if anyone listening to this can relate to that feeling. We're in a position, very fortunate position, I'm so grateful, where we actually have a lot of support. So we have a lot of people wanting to come and drop off dinner, and a lot of people wanting to, how can I help you, how can I be there. We're very, very lucky in that way. But when I just given birth, I actually just kind of just really wanted to be with my twin sister, my mum. My partner's mother-in-law was amazing, and my dad, I think I only saw my dad a few times, but it was really nice, like just sitting in the garden with him. And apart from that, I didn't really, anyone else, I was just like, you feel so vulnerable, and fragile, but really strong at the same time. Like, genuinely, when you hear women say, and again, not everyone, but I do feel that my daughter has made me more of who I actually am. Like, I feel more myself than ever before, but very weirdly at the same time, feel like not myself. My body is completely different. My hips are so wide because my bones have literally moved. I've put on weight. My boobs are ginormous. Like, I've always been someone who's had very small breasts, and now I have these massive, like, when my sister first saw me, I was naked a lot at the beginning because I just was breastfeeding and you get milk all over you and blah blah blah, so I was quite naked. And I remember when my sister first saw me, and she was like, oh my god, Alice, you look like you've had a boob job. Like, she was like, Alice, your boobs look amazing. But it's also, you look in the mirror and you're like, they're not my breasts. Like, they are now, but like, it's like, God, they don't look like my breasts, and my hips don't look like my hips, and my face looks rounder, and it's just you're getting to know yourself. It's not that I don't like my new body, and it's not that I don't like all these new things, it's just they're not familiar. It's like, who is that? Is that me? So that's been interesting. I want to talk a lot about that. Like, I went shopping with my sister, and I wanted to get some nice clothes. I really believe in, like, the importance of feeling good, so I wanted to get some new clothes that fitted me, and I want to feel comfortable in my body. But I'm going to be honest, I want to feel sexy, and just feel good about myself. And that was really interesting because the kind of clothes I would usually go for, I just couldn't wear them. Like, I'm breastfeeding, I'm choosing to breastfeed. I also wear these little milk catchers in my bra, which make my boobs even bigger. So I can't wear these tiny little tops like I used to. They just feel like they're just not a right fit. So that's been really interesting. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, all of this has been going on, and it's just been really, I've wanted to come back on social media. I'm actually in a really good place now, and I feel really, like, excited. Like, I feel like I've bedded in a little bit more. Like, I take my daughter out all the time, and I meet people for coffees, and I see my friends and family and all that kind of thing. But I just haven't wanted to do that post of, here's my baby, like, she look beautiful, because it's missing out. It's like bypassing this chunk of experience, these sleepless, very stressful, overstimulated, like desperate in some ways, nights that women go through. And I felt all those things. I felt desperate. I felt like explosive at times. I felt angry. I felt frustrated. And I'm someone who's got a lot of support. Like, I've had dinner cooked for me every day. I've had breakfast cooked for me every day. I've had people coming and cleaning the house for me. You know, I haven't been really living in like a messy house like people say. Like, I'm someone who likes my environment nice and tidy and clean. And it was something I worried about because it does affect me. Like, if I'm in a messy environment, that does bother me. And I was very fortunate that my mum and sister were just like coming, and my partner also is just, he's just amazing. My mum and sister are amazing, and my mother-in-law is amazing, just coming round and like cleaning and cooking and just keeping everything going. So we haven't really had that messy experience. I just feel so grateful. So what I'm saying is, I've had so much support and I felt desperate. So I also felt that a lot of like anger and frustration that I was feeling was at people and at society, and almost like this deeper, almost like for all the women that had gone before me and all the women that will come after me, feeling like, how are we not educated in society to support women? Like, how is that not a thing? Like, even my partner, his paternity leave was absolutely shocking. And I remember feeling angry about that because I thought, what, you just, that is just another reflection of society expects women to do it alone. Like, if you are not going to give the man, the dad, or the partner, whether it's a man or a woman partner, whoever, the same amount of time, like whether it's 9 months, however long, to be off on paternity leave, to support their girlfriend, wife, partner, their baby mama, to support them, that is also another message from society, from the government, from whoever, saying we expect mums to do it alone. You don't need your partner there to help you. We're going to leave you to do it by yourself. And that really like lit a fire in me, because I just can't believe like the people who had the bestest intentions for me, but they had just never had a baby themselves or been around anyone intimately who'd had a baby. They just didn't know how to support me, and I found that really hard, because I thought, I don't have time to express my needs. Like, I don't have time to educate people. I don't have time. Like, if you can't help me, just stay out of my way. Like, that's how it felt. And whether that's healthy or not, like, it's just you're so overstimulated, but you really don't have time to sit down and explain to people how you're feeling when you're in it. So that was really, really tough. That was something that was really, really hard. And then there was lots of hilarious, along the way, and this really is the truth of these experiences. Along the way, like, one moment you're like having this desperate time, and then the next minute you look at your baby, or you give her first bath, or you're changing her nappy, or you're just looking into her eyes, or you're having a cuddle with, I remember dancing with my partner in the kitchen one night, and we used to dance in the kitchen when I was pregnant, but we would like rub my belly. And I remember dancing in the kitchen once my baby was here, our baby, and the three of us were having a dance in the kitchen, and I just remember like, oh my god, this is so magical. And I also remember like another time I'd been on I think my first walk, because for many days I didn't leave the house. I think actually for a couple of weeks I didn't leave the house. I would go in the garden for some sunlight. My sister would say, come on Alice, I know you're really tired, but come in the garden, we'll get some sunlight. And I remember one time, I think after going on my first walk with the pram, and coming back home, and my partner was like burning wood or something in the garden, and he just looked so handsome, and I had my baby in my arms, and he was like walking towards us to like give us a kiss to say like hello after our first walk. And I just remember thinking like, I'm living the dream. Like, I love my life. Like, this is just the most, like, it was just like a movie. Like, I was like, I just love this so much. But then I'm pretty positive that I could guarantee that maybe in the next hour, maybe I would have sore nipples from breastfeeding, or like the tiredness would kick in. And then I also remember the first time like my partner took my daughter out because she wouldn't settle, and I'd like woken up from my nap. He took her out because I was having like a sleep. I was trying to get some more sleep in, and he'd taken her out, and I'd woke up and they were both gone, and I was fuming. I was filled with so much anxiety, and I can't believe it, but in my head was saying, Alice, is this controlling? Am I being like a controlling mother? Like, I don't take my baby. Like, I need to be my baby at all times. And then I was like, no, this is a biological reaction. Like, mums and babies are not to be separated this early on. Like, the mum and the baby need to be together. That's really important. And like, I remember when my partner got back, I was so anxious, and I remember I was crying, but he didn't know. He was like, Alice, I really wanted you to get some sleep, and she wouldn't settle, so I took her for a drive because she relaxes in the car. Like, and it is really weird, babies really do just relax in the car, so that's funny. And he was like mortified, he just wanted to help me, and I was there like crying. And so these are all like learning curves. Like, he doesn't know, I didn't know I was going to feel that way. Like, so now we know, basically, if he does take her out for whatever reason, I always say, like, just message me. Just so if I do wake up and you guys aren't there, just to message and say, Alice, I've taken the baby out for a drive. And then I can just like feel relaxed, and also like know that he's only around the corner or whatever it might be. So there's just been so many things, and the one thing that's kept me like sticking to my boundaries and sticking to like boldly asking for what I need and boldly expressing what I need, because sometimes you like feel like, oh, can I really ask for another cup of tea? Can I really ask my sister to hoover again? Can I really ask my mother-in-law to like get all that shopping in from the shops again? And the one thing that really keeps me pushing that boundary, or what I call like that edge of how can we push the edge, meet our edge of our boundaries, is I want my daughter to have a positive postpartum experience. I want it to be normal for her to ask for what she needs. I want it to be normal for her to express her boundaries. I want it to be normal for her to be cooked for every day. I want it to be normal for people to come to her house and hoover. And so I really believe that if I can make that my story, then that by default will become her norm. So by default, I want her to be able to say, oh, well, mum got cooked for her every day when she was, for the first however long, 3 months, beyond, whatever. That's normal, and I want her to expect that. I want her to have those expectations and to not feel uncomfortable about asking for that. I want her to feel that she can say to people, no, we're not having visitors, or no, we're not coming here, or we're not doing this. So what has given me the strength over these first 6 weeks has been my daughter, which is amazing. She has really like encouraged me to like step up, to raise the bar of expectations, which is just, yeah, I just love her for that. I just think she's amazing. She's actually right now just like snuggled into my chest. She's had a good feed. She's just snuggling in. So this is where I've been. This is what I've been doing, and I've just also been enjoying it. Like, been really, there's part of me that's wanting to rush back into things, but there's this other really like wise part in me that knows that we're never going to get these times back again. Like, I'm never going to have these first weeks with my daughter again. I'm never going to have this time of like becoming a mum for the first time again, and it just feels really, really important to me to just enjoy it and be as present as possible. And what feels really important as well, like I said, is to really share what my experience has been like. So I will share cute pictures, and I will share beautiful pictures, and I'm sure I'll make all the pretty Instagram reels and all these things, but I also want to share the other side of the transition into motherhood, which is it's hard and it's gritty and it's very overstimulating, and it asks for a lot of you. Like even breastfeeding, like you are so hungry and thirsty. Like my baby is literally feeding off my body, so all the nutrients from my bones, literally everything is going to her, which I want it that way, but it also takes a lot from you. Like it takes a lot from you. So yeah, this is what I'm going to be talking about over these next coming weeks, just as and when I can sit down. Like even talking about sex, like having sex for the first time is like that is a big thing for women, like feeling that it's safe, and is it okay, and am I gonna damage myself or hurt myself, like is something bad gonna happen to me? So all these things I'm excited to explore them. But I think the next thing that I'll probably do with you guys is I'll probably share my birth story, which I'm really excited to share. So going into labour, the water's breaking, just all the hilarious things that happened along the way, but also the really like challenging parts of it as well. So it's been so lovely to sit down and chat with you all, and thank you all so much for the messages. Something must have been going on yesterday because I got so many messages on Instagram and also this morning of people just checking in saying, Alice, is everything okay? So something must have been going on yesterday where everyone just wanted to check in, and it was a little prompt for me to say, actually I really want to make this podcast and share it. So I hope you are all doing well. I hope you're all having a beautiful day. And I've loved sharing this. You can probably hear my daughter now making lovely little squeaky noises. And I will be back very soon to not only share the wonderful things on my journey, but to also share like the grittiness and the realness, and to honour this journey that we go through as women is just so important to me. So as always, sisters, I am sending you all so much love, thinking of you all. And if you are in the Sisterhood membership, you can go and watch all the content from Aries season. I share a little bit more about my journey and what I've learned, because I have learned so much these past couple of weeks. And also, if you are in the Sisterhood, I recommend watching a video I made about the challenges that I went through in pregnancy as well, because there was just so much to be learnt there from that journey. So yeah, if you're in the Sisterhood, I'll be filming more content as well for Taurus season coming up. If you're not in the membership and you'd like to join us in there, I will share the link in this email and also below this YouTube video. Or you can just DM me on Instagram and I will send you the details of how you can join. But I am going to probably go and have some more snuggles. We're going to try and nip out to the shops. We've got some tasks to do. It's a very sunny day, so we might have lunch in the garden, mightn't we? And I'll speak to you all soon. Okay, loads of love, guys. Bye-bye. Mwah.